The Egyptian president praises Qatar's leadership and affirms support for its sovereignty. President Sisi reviews Egypt's electricity and renewable energy strategy. And Egypt welcomes President Trump's ceasefire announcement between Iran and Israel and calls it key to de-escalation. You're watching Q News. I'm Hani Saif, and these are the news from Egypt. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has praised Qatar's leadership and rejected any breach of its sovereignty during a call with Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Sisi expressed full support for Qatar's handling of the crisis and commended its military readiness, including its air defense systems against recent Iranian strikes. The two leaders also discussed regional tensions and diplomatic efforts to achieve a ceasefire between Iran, Israel and Gaza. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has reviewed Egypt's electricity and renewable energy strategy during a meeting in Alamein with key government officials. The meeting, attended by Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Electricity Minister Mahmoud Esmat, focused on energy mix, renewable energy use, storage batteries and fuel-efficient power generation. The minister outlined plans to add 2,000 megawatts of renewable capacity with $2.3 billion in investments. Discussions also covered electricity grid upgrades, combating power theft and localizing the manufacture of wind turbines and storage batteries. Egypt's current renewable capacity stands at 8,031 megawatts. Egypt has welcomed U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of a ceasefire between Iran and Israel, calling it a key step towards de-escalation. In a statement, the Egyptian Foreign Ministry described the ceasefire as a potential turning point to halt regional confrontations. Cairo urged both sides to commit fully and exercise restraint. The ministry reaffirmed Egypt's support for diplomatic solutions and stressed that resolving the Palestinian issue remains vital for regional stability. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdul Ati has emphasized the importance of respecting the sovereignty of Gulf and Arab nations and condemned any violations of their territorial integrity. That came during his call with the Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi to discuss the latest regional developments. Abdul Ati welcomed the U.S. announced ceasefire, urging both Israel and Iran to adhere to it as a crucial step towards reducing tensions and restoring stability. The Iranian foreign minister affirmed respect for regional sovereignty and agreed to continue efforts to de-escalate the situation. Foreign ministers from Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Iraq and Jordan have agreed on the critical need to de-escalate tensions and exercise restraint following Iranian missile attacks on Qatar and Iraq. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdul Ati conducted phone calls with his counterparts to discuss the situation, reaffirming Egypt's full support for Qatar and condemning any threats to its sovereignty and regional stability. The Egyptian Ministry of Civil Aviation has announced ongoing close monitoring of airport operations, especially after several neighboring countries reopened their airspace following recent regional events. Minister Sameh Al-Hifni has been overseeing operations in real time from Cairo International Airport's Crisis Management Center. Air traffic between Egypt and Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the UAE has gradually resumed. The ministry emphasized continued coordination with airlines to ensure smooth operations, quick responses to developments and strict adherence to international aviation safety standards. Egypt has condemned Iran's attacks on Qatar, calling them violations of sovereignty and international law. In a statement, the Egyptian Foreign Ministry expressed full solidarity with Qatar, stressing that the strikes breached the UN Charter and threatened regional stability. Cairo urged all parties to de-escalate and commit to a ceasefire, emphasizing the importance of diplomacy in managing rising tensions. Arab League chief Ahmed Abul Gheit has declared full solidarity with Qatar over Iran's violation of its sovereignty. In a post on X, Abul Gheit described the Iranian strike as unacceptable and warned of the growing seriousness of regional escalation. He recalled earlier warnings about such confrontations and expressed hope for a swift resolution to safeguard regional peace and stability. Egypt's Minister of Local Development, Manal Awad, has signed a joint executive action plan with UNICEF to prioritize child welfare and protection across the country's governorates. The agreement, finalized during Awad's meeting with UNICEF representative Natalia Winder-Rossi, aligns with Egypt's 2024-2027 government work plan. Awad emphasized cooperation to improve living conditions for children, especially in rural and underserved areas, including those with disabilities. The ministry aims to empower local authorities through child protection units and expand infrastructure and community awareness initiatives. Twelve Egyptian cities have been listed in the latest Oxford Economics Global Cities ranking. The ranking evaluates cities worldwide based on economic attractiveness and serves as a tool for guiding strategic decisions in finance, infrastructure, real estate, logistics, and public policy. The Egyptian cities included are Cairo, Alexandria, Bursaid, Suez, Mansoura, Tanta, Luxor, Mahalla, Zaazit, Asyut, Fayoum, and Sohag. The inclusion highlights Egypt's growing urban development and its expanding role in global economic networks. The head of Egypt's Tourism Chambers Union says the Israel-Iran war has had little to no impact on tourist bookings to Egypt. Speaking at a press conference, Hossein Mashar said tourist arrivals remain strong, with cancellation rates over the past 2 weeks barely noticeable. He noted that inbound tourism in the first 5 months of 2025 rose by 25% compared to the same period in 2024. Mashar added that Egypt aims to add 200,000 hotel rooms to accommodate its target of 30 million tourists in the coming years. Egypt's Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has launched Sharik 2030, the country's first interactive app designed to raise public awareness about state development programs, initiatives, and strategic projects. The app promotes transparency by sharing up-to-date information on development indicators and allows citizens to suggest priority initiatives, supporting Egypt's citizen follow-up and participation planning efforts. Users can track program performance, follow major initiatives like the Decent Life Initiative, access the latest ministry news, and communicate directly with officials. Recognized by the UN's SDGs acceleration platform, the app enhances community engagement and strengthens a culture of accountability in government. Deputy Prime Minister and Industry Minister Kamil Al-Wazir has formed a mini-committee to combat customs evasion. During the 26th Industrial Development Ministerial Group meeting, the committee discussed manufacturers' concerns about customs evasion and assessed customs reference price mechanisms. The task force includes representatives from customs, trade, standards agencies, industry federations, and a private sector business owner. Al-Wazir also reviewed infrastructure shortcomings at the Abu Rawash industrial zone, home to around 800 factories. Egypt's Ministry of Labour has announced 2 paid official holidays for private sector workers during the next 2 weeks. The first holiday will be on Thursday, June 26th of 2025, marking the Islamic New Hijri year 1447, corresponding to the first day of Muharram, as determined by the relevant religious authorities. The second holiday will fall on Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, in observance of the 12th anniversary of the June 30th revolution instead of Monday, June 30th. This rescheduling aligns with the state's policy of shifting holidays to Thursdays to promote workflow consistency and provide longer weekends. These holidays apply to workers governed by Labour Law No. 12 of 2003. Egypt and China have agreed to strengthen economic cooperation in key sectors including electric vehicles, electronics and artificial intelligence. During a meeting in Beijing, Egyptian Investment Minister Hassan Al-Khatib and Chinese Commerce Minister Wang Wintao also discussed enhancing supply chains and expanding trade, which currently stands at $17 billion. The two countries plan to hold an investment promotion forum in Egypt to boost joint ventures. China remains Egypt's largest trading partner, with major Chinese investments in projects like the Teide Suez Zone and Egypt's new administrative capital. The Suez Canal Economic Zone has signed a $20 million agreement with Turkey's Shiriki Ugulu to establish a denim manufacturing plant in the Qantara West Industrial Zone, covering 16,700 square meters. The factory will produce 18 million tons of denim fabric annually, half for export and half for Egypt's domestic market, and is set to create 500 direct jobs. The Suez Canal Zone Chairman Walid Gameluddin said the project aligns with efforts to localize key textile industries and boost exports. It becomes the 25th project in Qantara West, where total investments now exceed $681 million and supports nearly 35,000 jobs. Egypt has hit a new high in strawberry exports to Malaysia, shipping nearly 1,500 metric tons in the first 10 months of the current marketing year, up 30% from last year, and earning over $6 million. According to East Fruit, the volume marks a fourfold increase over 5 years, with exports growing at an average annual rate of 25%. Despite Malaysia making up less than 3% of Egypt's total strawberry exports, rising demand and seasonal alignment have helped Egypt gain market share. Competitive pricing also plays a role, with Egyptian strawberries selling for under $4 per kilogram, far lower than imports from South Korea, Australia or the US. And this brings us to the end of our Egyptian news bulletin for now, but here's a reminder of today's main Egyptian stories. The Egyptian president praises Qatar's leadership and affirms support for its sovereignty. President Sisi reviews Egypt's electricity and renewable energy strategy. And Egypt welcomes President Trump's ceasefire announcement between Iran and Israel and calls it key to de-escalation. That's all for now, but please remember to stay updated by following Qnews for the latest developments. Thank you for watching.